Yo, what's up? This your boy Derek Branch here, Saint Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. And today, real quick, what I want to do is recap this New Orleans Saints 2023 NFL draft class. The draft is over at today, with the Saints making some moves during their draft. Moved up two times to get some player they really and were able to grab a wide receiver. I believe they got back in the sixth round, if I'm not mistaken. Got a wide receiver that they like. Some other news that went down as well. But first, I just want to talk about the picks. I talked about taking Brian Brzee and that on the I think it's Friday night Thursday video recapping that pick, that first pick on day one. In particular, I want to talk about day two and three of the draft because I think they really got some good players in my opinion to add to the roster. Isaiah Foskey, number 7, second round pick out of Notre Dame. The image is a little fuzzy right now. Second round pick. I really looked at that much to this RAS relative athletic squad. I don't really look into all this kind of stuff, man. If you can play, you can play. But Isaiah Foskey, defensive end out of Notre Dame, edge rusher, second round pick, pick 40. This is the third attempt, for the Saints to had that can play alongside opposite of Cam Jordan and be able to create some pressure on these offensive line, on these quarterbacks, and rack up sacks. Now this guy had I believe he set the record for sacks at Notre Dame with 11. I think he had 11 this past season, 11, season prior. So he could get to the quarterback. You know, he could get to the quarterback. And if you read some of the mocks that were out there, I believe I had him mocked in one of my mock drafts. But Isaiah Foskey was the name that was being linked to the Saints in quite a few mock drafts. First pick or second round pick. That Isaiah Foskey coming to the Saints. Now, my last that I did, the one that I did for the entire league, I had Isaiah Foskey, pronouncing that right, going to the Kansas City Chiefs with the last overall pick. But they got Felix Ozama out of State. That's a player that I had mocked to the Saints as well. But this is a good pickup for the Saints, man. I really like this pickup. As always, help is going to be the key. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, they say they did the checks on him, the history on him, background checks on him were good. They were clear, no real injury problems, character issues, anything like that. But as we know, once you get to the Saints, injuries just start piling up on you, and that's what happened to Marcus Davenport. But this is the second time, the third time that the Saints are attempting to get that guy that can create some pressure. Not any Cam Jordan on these quarterbacks and can stop the run effectively. Marcus Davenport issue was, to me, just couldn't stay healthy. He just couldn't stay on the field. And when he couldn't on the field, stay healthy, it disrupted his rhythm as a edge rusher. Because when he's in the game, because when he could, set up, string of 4 to 5 games repeatedly, successfully, put up some numbers. He could be a force on the defense. But when he's injured and he's out, it just wasn't happening for him. But I like this pickup, man. Was agreed to fit right here by John Sigler of Saints Wide. Foskey should rotate into games at the right end spot with Carl Granderson and Payne Turner, but he's athletic enough to play all over the defensive line. So that's looking for. That's what they like. Guys that can play at a run or in the edge, not get on the edge and cause some disruption. You know what I'm saying? Fits the profile. 6'5", 6'6", 250, 260, 260 pounds, long arms, play all over the defensive line like a hybrid. One, you know what I'm saying? So Isaiah picked sound pick. I'm glad they picked him up. I like it. Then it came up in the third round. Kim Miller out of TCU. Now this guy, I believe, set the record for rushing yards. Well, I won't say he set the record because Danny Thompson got most of the rushing records at TCU, but he led, I believe he was in the top 10 in rushing last year in the big in college football with over 1,300 yards and dozen TDs. Was a key member of TCU getting to the semi the final round. He didn't play in the final game against Georgia, but he's a back that I like. You know what I'm saying? Not really a speedster or anything like that. Not really like an Alvin Kamara type. You know, you got the nice footwork and do things that stress out linebackers and things like that, miss matches, but he gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? Kind of remind me of Latavius Murray. To be honest with you, runs a little bit he runs with more aggression to me, in my opinion. What I've seen out of Kim Miller, you know what I'm saying? He's a volume back. You gotta consistently, from the fog to a rhythm, and then he'll wreck one. That's Murray. Now you might see more of those with Kendrick Miller. With Latavius Murray was just an occasional break off 20 yards, 15 yards here and there. But this guy could go 70, 80 yards for a touchdown. He's that special. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm glad they picked, so we still, waiting on Alvin Kamara, and what's the verdict be on that trial for that incident that took place in Las Vegas, 2022 at the Pro Bowl. We're going to see how that's going to play out. And if Kamara returns some suspension time for that, it's going to be Jamal Williams and out holding it down. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to see how it's going to play out. Now, to me, it's been out for a while. You know what I'm saying? Whenever Kamara is out, guy that's taking over, that's the lead back or whatever way they decide to do it, they don't have to be Alvin Kamara. They don't have to have Alvin Kamara's skill set to be successful. They just got to produce when called upon and get the job done. And I believe that Williams and Kendrick Miller can get the job done. You know what I'm saying? He has some capabilities where he can catch the ball out of the backfield. They use him in quite a few of those ways with TCU based on what I've seen. So that's a game as well. According to this as well in the scouting report, but Sealy got right here that he needs to the receiver, but he's already strong enough at a runner to play it right away. Yes, he can. I agree, but pass protection in the Saints offense as a blocker is a bigger requirement as a running back. Mark Ingram got better at it. Latavius Murray could do it. Hopefully Jamal Williams and Kendrick Miller could do it as well. But good pickup, man. Good pickup. He has an injury. He had an injury that he suffered leading the CFP the final round of the college football playoff that he did in, but he expects to be back by training camp. So another good pickup, man. Another pickup. At least I'm glad they got a running back. Compared to last season where they felt like they kind of ignore that position. You know, I'm glad it happened this year. You know what I'm saying? A back that I believe that can, possibly take over for Alvin Kamara. That could become the lead guy down the road. So I'm glad they got Kendrick Miller in the third round. I know there's a lot of people out there, pushing for the Saints to get Tyjae Spears. It didn't work out. I know there's been some reports about his injury, why he dropped down in the draft. It is what it is now, man. I think the Titans got a really good running back. I've seen a lot of fans, upset about the Tyjae Spears pick. They don't get it, but I think they needed a running back. Because Derrick Henry's turns what 29. It's 29 right now, so and we don't know how long he can keep that up. He ran to 1,500 yards, ran 1,500 yards last year, so there's no telling when he'll fall off. You know what I'm saying? But drafting a guy like a Tyjae Spears could definitely help them out. They just don't see it yet. But the crazy thing is that I had in one of my mocks I did for the Titans on the Strike 7 Sports website, I mocked Kendrick Miller to the Titans in the third round. And I know Nick Underhill had he was a big fan of Kendrick Miller as well to the Saints, but he got him. So I'm happy for this pickup. Kendrick Miller at 70, pick 71, third round. Fourth round, this is where they went. They got the guard, Nick Saldiveri out of ODU, Old Dominion. That was another position that I felt like the Saints needed to look at trying to upgrade or add some depth to, especially with some uncertainty with the current guards we have right now. With Andrews Pete pretty much going to be on the on a 1 year deal right now. Going to be a free agent after this season, and they have to decide they're going to pick up the figure option on Cesar Ruiz, the guard out of Michigan, who was they started him at if they put him at I believe no, they started him at right guard. They didn't put him back at center. They didn't put him at guard again. Now, I mean, he played a lot better last year, but had the injury, pretty much that cost him the season. So they're still, they're still debating on whether they should pick up that 5th year option. I don't think he's going to get it because he's going to have to go out there and prove himself, and back it up on the field, and maybe the might decide to bring it out. But you pretty much got somebody in the building, fourth round pick, and develop under offensive line coach. Can't think of his name right now, man. I used to coach the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, Doug Marrone, developing Doug Marrone, and probably he could be a future starter down the road. So Nick Saldiveri at pick 103, the fourth round. In the second pick in the fourth round, it's another guy that a lot of people were looking at for the Saints was a quarterback. And I'm glad they got a quarterback because every mock that I've done on the Saints this during the draft season, my draft coverage had a quarterback in it. Every mock that I've done. Some quarter don't, but I had some quarterbacks going in the 5th round, some in the 7th round, the 6th round. Stetson Bennett, um, Max Duggan, Hendon Hooker, all kind of quarterbacks. I have mocked to the Saints. Aiden O'Connell, but Jake Hunter, West number 9 like Reeves. uh, he went to Fresno State like Derek Carr. And according to what he said he already spoke with Derek Carr over the phone after they made the pick. And he studied film with Drew Brees before. I'm paraphrasing here, but this came from kind of self. So I think he's a bit undersized, quarterback. Didn't work out at the combine due to injury, so you don't really have his RAS. Like I said, I don't really, get into all the RAS score and all this other stuff. But according to this breakdown, he's one of the most decorated passers in Fresno State history. Heiner plays with a ton of confidence, throws a very accurate football. He has seen it all at the college level and doesn't make many mistakes. He was voted team captain all 3 years at Fresno State. According to the fit by Siegler, Heiner would be the third quarterback on the depth chart, but he tools to develop into a spot starter. He can play. I agree. Um, the reason why I was pushing so hard for the Saints to draft a quarterback is because they need to bring somebody in to develop. Man, it's time the Saints develop a quarterback. It's been long enough since they've not done it. The quarterbacks that the Saints have worked with in the past has been guys that have come from different teams. Bridgewater, James Winston, Andy Dalton. Nobody really developed like in house like a picker at their own. And another thing is that Winston's gonna be a free agent after this season, after the end of the 2023 season, and we don't know if he's gonna want to come. Excuse me. We don't know if he's gonna want to come back in 2024 and be a backup again at Derek Carr. So if he does decide to leave, you're gonna need another guy to bring in a quarterback to bring in. So it's better to have draft Heiner and get a head start on his development, and maybe he can develop into a starter one day or develop into a high end backup. You know what I'm saying? Or a trade piece. Who knows? That way we can get some extra draft picks for. But that's just if Carr just knocking it out of the park. You know what I'm saying? Putting up all kind of numbers. But I like this pick. I like the pick. Down the road, if Carr gets injured, and that he misses where to a point to where he misses like 4 to 6 games, you have a guy that can come in and play and keep train rolling, and not, and that way you don't have to like tailor the offense or just narrow down the playbook to so many plays because you got a quarterback that you kind of limited in what you can do. So I like that pick, Jake Heiner, the second pick. Excuse me, the second pick in the fourth round at pick 127. Now they in the fifth round they got Jordan Howden out of Minnesota, um, safety that can start in a lot of games. Commit only just 2 penalties according to this breakdown. 2 penalties in his career, and only missed over. And guys over 3,000 career snaps and missed a few missed tackles and 3,000 career snaps. So my mistake. And he can play, according to this breakdown, he can mainly play in the slot and but move all over the secondary. So I think he's a safety, I believe, or corner safety slash corner. So and that's another thing the Saints like too. They like guys that they can play on the outside, that can play, or guys that can play in the slot, or they can play in the box. You know what I'm saying? As a playing that hybrid role that C.J. Gardner Johnson playing. Maybe he can push Bradley Roby to start at nickel. We'll see, but I think he could possibly be a special teams guy, or a guy that can put a plug and play into that secondary. So that'll be something to look forward to in training camp between Bradley Roby and Jordan Howden out of Minnesota. And this is the final pick of the draft for the Saints. A.T. Perry, wide receiver, Wake Forest. Now I've been paying attention to A.T. Perry for a while, ever since the Saints season ended, and the whole mock draft start to begin. They start looking at prospects, wide receiver prospects, and A.T. Perry has been on my radar for a while. He fits. If you watch how they use him at Wake Forest, how he played, his playing style, fight for contested catches, score a lot of touchdowns. It kind of remind me of Michael Thomas. You know what I'm saying? The way he was utilized at Wake Forest. This playing style, not really much of a burner, but remind me of Michael Thomas to a certain extent. And I usually don't make comparisons from players that don't hasn't played it down in the league yet to somebody that's established yet. But I can see why the Saints were interested in this guy. You know what I'm saying? So he's probably gonna have to fight his way onto their active roster, and you know probably gonna have to show out during training camp to maybe he could push a guy like a Traquan Smith roster. You know what I'm saying? Or Brian Edwards. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be for right now, man. If I had to take a guess at the Saints, depth chart at receiver right now, I think it'll be Chris Olave on one side, and Michael Thomas on the other and you may have Brian Edwards in the slot, and Rashid Shaheed may come in there for plays every now and then. And this guy, he could be on the bench on the depth chart, coming on, playing on special team roles, coming in certain situations. That's if he makes the team, the final 53. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to see how that play out, man. But the preseason is going to be huge for him, man. Preseason games, more in particular, because we got to see. That's going to determine what he can do. That's going to determine his long with this team as a second, as a 6th round pick. So preseason during the preseason. This is a guy to be looking out for. Um, you know, A.T. Perry. You know how he develops camp sessions. and on actual game time when there's, you know, the opportunity to put the bright lights on for him to prove himself. Him along with seeing it'll be interesting to see him how he performs and Jay Heiner. You know, how well they've you know, came up to speed on the offense. So still have to look forward to that, man. All right, man. I'm gonna go out and check out this the draft grades that the they gave the Saints for this upcoming for this past NFL draft that went down. Now I read some publications out there, man, that have said the Saints had a bad draft. I mean, I don't know. I mean, oh well. I think Mel Kiper gave him like a B minus, and some people out there that was a worst class. That's kind of confusing to me. You give them a B minus, but you say they had the one of the worst drafts in there throughout the entire league. That's kind of strange to me, but oh well. That's Mel Kiper. That's why you got me and a few others like Big Q, Chris Rothlow of our Straight Up Saints podcast, TJ Gun there. That's why you got people like me that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just pull up these the grades that they gave the Saints from Pro Football Network because that's one of the I prefer them go to them over Pro Football Talk and some of these other sites that are out there that covered all the two teams. But I'm just going to just check these grades out by one that is Ian Cummins. The Browns A pick, they give it a B plus. You know, Isaiah Folksky, they give it a Kendry Miller, they give it a hold on, Kendry Miller, they give it an A minus. Nick Salvadori, the lineman, the guard out of Old Dominion, B plus. They got an A minus. Um, Jordan Howden, A.T. Perry, A plus. They give that pick an A plus, man. A.T. Perry, a 6th round pick, wide receiver, an A plus. Now, I'm surprised A.T. Perry stayed that long on the boards. For real. I thought at minimum A.T. Perry was gonna fall between gonna get picked up between the 3rd and the 4th rounds of the draft. That's what I thought. So they get this. They feel like a lot of people feel like this A.T. Perry pick was still right there, and they give him an A plus. Man, Pro Football Network gives us an A plus for this pick, and I ain't mad at it. But overall, man, I think the Saints really well during this draft, bro. Really well. Man. Everybody got good grades next to the next picks. But anyways, man, I usually don't. I'm not really the one that like grade draft pick during the actual days of the draft, the week of the draft. I just let it. I just let it play out as the years go. That's when you could give a team a draft class a grade. But I understand why outlets do it. It builds engagement. It's for clicks, revenue. I understand all that. I'm not knocking it, but I just it's something I just don't. But it's good to know that the Saints are getting recognized by certain people for what they did in the draft. So that's not a bad pick. It's not a bad grade from Ian for the Saints in these picks. And I seem to agree. It's a big up. Keener, A.T. Perry, um, safety out of Minnesota, um, offensive lineman out of OD, Brian Brzee. He's going to need more some linemen. You know what I'm saying. Hopefully, can come in and contribute when he's called upon. Because I think right now he's going to be a rotational player. So we'll see how it's going to play out, man. I think the Saints did really well in this draft. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to play out against training camp and all that other good stuff. But hopefully, man, the key to everything, the key to the Saints' success this year, man, with these rookies, is going to be help, man. We know how it is with this medical staff that starting to get some attention now thrown upon them just because of how they gonna handle with the Zion Williams situation. They have this and they the Saints and the Pelicans are following the same company, same firm, Oshner, for these to deal with their medicals. But health is gonna be the key, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out in training camp for the black and gold. All right, man, that's all I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, leave me know how y'all feel. If you did do draft grades for the Saints, how you feel about that? How you feel about the Saints draft picks this year? Who were some players that you wanted the Saints to pick up in the draft? Are you disappointed with the draft, the picks that the Saints, the players that the Saints take in the draft? Are you excited? Have a blessed day, and also check out saintsdiscussions.com for latest content on the Saints organization. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out. Who that?